Welcome to the SMX Insider post-race show from RedBud. Glad we've been able to move the post-race show to live right after the motos conclude. Maybe more so for this race at RedBud than any other, because this crowd and this podium scene is so wild, and it is still raging down there about 5 minutes after the podium interviews wrapped. Jason Wygant, James Stewart to take you through it. We'll have Will Christian and Jason Thomas and all these fans joining us as well. Michael Mosiman going nuts.
It is one of those celebrations that you'll always remember. And Bambi didn't have goggles on earlier. Now he's got a USA hat on, and yeah, he's got his goggles on.
It's Evan the Deer. Got a good streak. He's been around the podium quite a bit at RedBud through the years. And, you know, it's cool actually specifically for Shimoda and Mosiman to be able to soak that up, because they have been through the ringer. So every rider is going to get, there's Evan the Deer, every rider is going to get electrified by that crowd, but those are two guys who really needed that.
Yeah, 100%. I'm looking at Evan's mullet right now. He might get a little Aaron Plessinger. He might got Aaron for a run, but yeah, it is a huge deal, you know, in a couple different ways. You know, you look at Michael just coming off the injury. It's just a good story, good field story for him, all the stuff that's happened to him. And then Joe Shimoda, I think for him is really just that confidence, because seems like he's been so close a lot, and maybe kind of break through. Maybe this is the start of many of them to come.
Let's see what happens next week, but first, the highlights from this week. RedBud. So RedBud always brings a gigantic crowd, and to give you the highlights here, they will play into it because there were plenty of things to cheer for, lots of ups and downs, and it included 250 qualifying, Hayden Deegan down.
Yeah, we saw him go down, and he kind of laid there for a little bit, you know, kicking with his leg. And, you know, at first, you know, he hits neutral when he lands off here. It didn't look like a bad crash, but obviously the way he had looked like a handlebar to the knee. Fixing a few things, he was able to get up and try to throw in another heater, so we thought he was fine, but that was the start of the day, some troubles of the day for him.
That's right. So Joe Shimoda here in red on the Honda gets the whole shot. He's got Mikel Harrop, Thrasher, but watch the inside, the 16, the orange KTM of Vial making moves early.
Yeah, Tom Vial has been working on that opening lap speed, that intensity in the first moto, and as you saw, he was in like 5th and then made his way 2 corners later. He made his way up into the lead and had some good pace, but as he said, sometimes pushing that, you know, things started to happen. It's a whole different body condition on how you got to approach the race and deal with it, and, you know, it catches them out in the middle part of the race. Hayden Deegan is the first of many mistakes. Didn't get the best start, kind of got caught up to Angelique in the beginning part of off the gate, set him back, saw some troubles, and then it was Joe Shimoda making his way back around Tom Vial. Tom Vial had like a 5-6 second lead. Joe made his way back around him, and once he did that, he was able to pull away, and this was the big moment of the day, I would say. Hayden Deegan, after a few more mistakes going down the hill, gets cross-rutted, see the bike smoking, and at that point he was just trying to survive this moto, ends up 14th, and lost a few points to Joe Shimoda in the beginning.
Kitchen, who was 13th early, is going to rally here on the last lap to get to 2nd.
Yeah, at one point, Levi was about 20 seconds behind Tom Vial, who was leading the race, and Levi just kept going. He had to flow. At one point, he was like 5-6 seconds a lap faster, but nobody was catching this dude. HRC Honda, Joe Shimoda, his first victory of the year, and just continue that, hopefully into this next moto, which he was able to do.
Yeah, but Kitchen was going to be lurking as well after that strong second. There's Shimoda with another good start, battling with Jalik Swoll in the 22.
Yeah, Jalik, you know, just made a slingshot around the outside, caught Joe off, and you know, still, I think Joe was in a perfect position. You know, the way he rode that first moto, things are happening. And watch
16
outside, gets a little help by Mr. Mosiman right there, and you can see him just getting up. He was in no rush to get back on that motorcycle. Tom Vial, after that first moto, a little disappointed. Levi was making some passes, passing everybody the opening part of the lap. He was going so fast, couldn't even stay on the racetrack. Ends up catching him, and look, he ends up getting back up there fighting, and then he ends up in the...
You want to talk not staying on the racetrack. Jordan Smith, where are you going?
Yeah, well, Jordan Smith, he was going to instant 360 up in here. I wish we had a better shot at that, but yeah, they put some water down on the track. Jordan did a good job of missing that generator right there and that monster can, but be costly for him as how good his teammate looked. And it was Hayden Deegan going down early in the race. Seemed like we were having a bunch of repeats of Hayden Deegan hitting the ground all day long, but that was the case for him.
And then more trouble for Kitchen. He'd actually visit the mechanics area, and we thought his race was over. Straightened out the bike, and then we actually found him back on the track. He was 31st. He'd claw all the way up to 19th to score a couple of championship points. Shimoda puts the pressure on Swole for the lead.
Yeah, you know, Michael Mosiman was closing in on Joe, and I think Joe had to start picking the pace up. He got around Jalik, and, you know, Joe rode really calm to me all day long. It felt like he kind of knew things were going to happen the way he was. He felt comfortable on the motorcycle and was no rush, so he made his way around Jalik. Michael tries to stay with him, but nobody was catching Joe today. And then it was Hayden Deegan getting around his teammate up the inside. This is for 3rd place right here. Salvage a good, good day for him. And then he was going to go after Jalik Swole for 2nd place. Jalik kind of knew he had that overall, that 2nd place overall really wouldn't matter, so didn't put up too much of a fight for Hayden Deegan. So good ride by him to recover. Hayden Deegan that is, but as I mentioned early in that first moto, nobody was close to this dude today.
Who knows? Might have been Kitchen. He couldn't get it done, and Shimoda doesn't care. He's going to go 1-1, get his first ever Pro Motocross win with Honda. And spoiler alert, it looks similar in the 450 class. And there's the president of Honda HRC, very happy. Some of the execs from Japan come over, and the rider born in Japan wins the race for them. Mosiman and Swole, a comeback story for both with the overall podium today. Swole with a 6-3, Mosiman with a 4-4. Deegan is 5th overall. Harrop was 4th. That's 2 triumphs in the top 4. DeFrancisco at speed, didn't get to show it. Wild day today, man. No,
wild day, and I was just thinking about Joe shaking the boss's hand and like, yeah, I'll take that check. Cash, please. Thank you very much. But yeah, good ride by these guys, man. It was a great day.
Yeah, Honda spent a lot of money on the bonus and win money from the podiums with the Lawrences and Shimoda, who now is 38 points behind Deegan in the championship. Kitchen still 3rd because he and VL both had bad 2nd motos. No surprise when you combine Supercross and Motocross together, it's Deegan, Shimoda, Vial. Top 3, Marchbanks has had a heck of a time getting off the gate. Really all season, but especially the last couple of motos, he is still 4th in combined points. He has definitely been riding well all year.
Yeah, I mean, he passed 100 people the first moto, overall so far this year.
It's crazy.
I'm sure he added to that total this 2nd moto, so yeah, Garrett, like you mentioned, he's been riding good, but nobody rode better than these guys today.
And Honda's going to take the podium. Looks like the Lawrence brothers are up to celebrate with Shimoda. And that's the first time Honda's ever swept all 4 motos at this track, which says a lot because there were years where Honda seemed to win everything all the time.
Yeah, that's really hard to believe. I mean, Honda really did show out today. They brought their trials champion out here.
That's right.
Doing everything. So really cool vibe, and happy to see these guys with
I think they might have brought him to the podium as well. That's Tony Bowe. Why not? He could ride it up to the podium. He could bunny hop it up there.
The way he jumped on that can still over there. Come on up.
Podium be nothing. All right, let's send it down to Will.
Thank you, Jason. I'm down here now with Ben Griffith, mechanic to Joe Shimoda, who just had an unbelievable day, Ben. That was kind of what you've been saying. He's just been bubbling under the surface now for a while. He's right there. Talk to me about that progress. It's been building, but today was something special. Today seemed to be like just all the pieces coming together.
To be fair, we always knew Joe could do it. There was no doubt. He's had the speed since round 1. We knew Hayden was always a little bit better than him. But we knew if we could get a start and get out with him, or at least in the top 3, we're going to be there. And this week, we really worked on some stuff with our starts, or on the bike with Joe, and it just made it a little easier for him. And yeah, we just really worked on that, and we had 2 good starts. Whole shot at the first moto, top 3 the 2nd moto, and it just all clicked for him, and it come together, and it was literally near on a perfect day for him. It was just what he needed.
And you work very closely with Joe. This kind of relationship, people maybe don't realize at home, between mechanic and rider is extremely important. Yeah. And you and Joe have really built like this kind of trust and understanding. We've talked about it a lot. Explain to me what you see in Joe now that we're going to see Millville and moving on here. What's changed?
Self-belief is the only thing in him. I just always tell him, I'm like, listen, bud, you've got the speed, you can do it. You've got all the tools to do it. Just believe in yourself and it'll come. And at the start of Supercross 21, he's like, I know I can do it. I just need to put it together. And then we had a couple bad, past couple weekends maybe haven't been the best for him. But coming into here, he knew he had the confidence, and he's always ridden well here, and he had the belief in himself, and I could see it in him. Moto 2, he's like, I want to go inside gate. And I said, hey, if you want to go inside, you got to be sure. And look what happened. Like, and that's belief in my eyes. And I knew he had it in him, and not everybody believes in what he can do, like outside our team, but the team believes in him. And that's why we never stopped working with him. And that's results show today.
Yeah, belief in himself, but belief from you guys most definitely in Joe too. So massive congratulations to not just him, but you and the whole team too. And I'm liking the outfit, including the braces.
May have to wear these next weekend. Bring me some extra luck.
Thanks so much. You appreciate it, Ben.
That's a fun one. That 250 podium from RedBud. We'll have many more highlights here on the post-race show. Friday afternoon, the second SMX Futures Motocross highlight of the year. This is, they had the Scouting Moto Combat at Hangtown. We get one here at RedBud. It's Carson Wood to the lead early on. Landon Gibson making some moves through the pack on that white Husqvarna. Here he is on the inside.
Yeah, Landon had some pace all day long, and even with Carson out front, you know, young kid right here is going to tip over, fall over, and give Landon the lead. Landon was trying to close in on him, but nonetheless, he was able to hold on this first moto and get up and get another, get a victory here for the first moto.
And up next for SMX, next is Moto 2. Unfortunately for Carson Wood, he wanted revenge after leading that first one and crashing. He's going to be the outside here. He's going to end up going down on this first turn right there. Actually, he was on the inside.
Yeah, literally the next corner. He crashed in the corner previous and then goes down and did a good job at getting back up to 6th that second moto, but Landon was on a different level in this moto.
That's Kate Johnson, might have had a podium, but then his bike let go. And then here's Landon Gibson getting it done again until the last lap, and his bike expires.
Yeah, we were looking out the window saying, no, he had this thing going because he was on a different level. He had about 20 seconds, and then the bike goes on him. So it just shows you how quickly things can change in motocross, because his Surefire looked like he was going to win this race, and then that hands that into Landon Gordon, get this victory and gets an overall victory with a 4-1 on the day. Great job by Landon, and then Pro Circuit Kawasaki.
Yep, and it's going to be Turner and Bowser on the podium with him. That's a tough break for Landon Gibson. He's going to go essentially 1 DNF. And there you see Gordon's 4-1 is enough to get the overall. Wood did come back for 6th after that first turn crash. Ends up 7th overall. Justin Turner, Luke Bowser, good job, boys. Owen Koval, Deacon Deno, top 5. And that's SMX next, Motocross from RedBud. Wow, that was a hurry. Fans are out of here already, probably to the campgrounds for a lot more fun this weekend. Show you what RedBud looked like in the 450 class for 2025. The highlights, as usual, beautiful racetrack, great weather, big crowd on hand for America's birthday weekend. 450 Moto 1. Well, you know the Hondas are usually good for the starts. Hunter Lawrence just able to get RJ Hampshire for the lead.
Yeah, it was good to see RJ up front. You know, he had some pace all year long. Not the best to start, but been on to make his way. But yeah, whenever you see a Honda out front, you just know it's going to be a long moto. This was Grant Harlan going down in one of the worst positions. As you can see, get caught up. Other guys catch him. He's just trying to hang on. And look, I know they can't see you, son. They can't see you up there. But he was able to get up somewhat on his help. But he end of his day right there.
Tough one for Harlan. Now watch, right side is Hampshire, left side is Jett Lawrence taking 2nd.
Yeah, Jett almost lost the front end the lap before doing that same thing. They put some water down, almost lost it. So heads up move by him, making his way up. And then it was the hometown hero, we say Captain America, his holiday, you know, Aaron Plessinger making his way past.
He got the 3rd from Hampshire, and then Jett goes after Hunter, and he needed to because Plessinger was starting to catch them for a while. And here's the battle with the brothers.
Yeah, Jett just has some, you know, great lines, man. He had the flow going on, some more brother-on-brother crime right here. Then it was Eli Tomac making his way around Aaron Plessinger, and you can see that bike smoking. It's going to play dividends on how Eli's day is going to go at the moment. But ET was starting to roll, got in that 3rd place, and then there you can see the bike gave away just like Cooper Webb did the first moto. Not sure exactly what happened, but It's going to be costly today for Eli's start position, but really costly in that championship. And you start to wonder, does it help him mentally moving forward? Pressure's off, no championship, just go win races. Nonetheless, this guy just continues doing what he's doing. Another moto win, Jett Lawrence.
Yep, but there would be drama in Moto 2. First, a rare bad start for Jett. He made that mistake coming out of the first turn, loses some ground. But there's going to be even more to talk about here. It's Cody Schock gaining the lead on the Club MX Yamaha. But watch the green Kawasaki, Jorge Prado, able to take the lead.
Yeah, we were wondering who showed up today. Was it Jorge George or Jorge with the silent J? Nonetheless, this was Jorge Prado out here getting the lead and did good. And then this was a huge moment. We just saw what happened to Hayden Deegan in that first moto in the 250 class, going down, and just how things kept transpiring. And you could see Jett Lawrence goes down. But man, when this guy got rolling, he was making some passes around these dudes, and you see a burst of speed. It was a burst of speed as he goes around his brother. I'm telling you, there's going to be some family violence keep going on if he keeps beating on an older brother like that. But nonetheless, he had to keep moving because it was Chase Sexton behind him as he goes. But look here, it was Justin Cooper, been fast in qualifying, first time up on the lead here today at RedBud. Tried to do his best to get away. He said he put some sprint laps in there to try to get away from Jett Lawrence as Jett makes his way around Jorge Prado for second place, because you can see Chase Sexton behind him does his best Jett Lawrence impression, going up the inside of Jorge and keeping his way up behind Jett Lawrence as well.
Yeah, this was going to be a battle. Was it going to be Lawrence versus Cooper or Sexton versus Lawrence? Lawrence says, I want the lead.
Yeah, nobody's been going there all day long, and I think he caught Justin Cooper off. Justin thought he was going to go up the inside, and he didn't. And then it was Chase Sexton going down this hill. Smart move. People might think he was trying to cut him off. No, he knew Justin Cooper was going to go around the outside if he didn't. And then that time that he lost because he was stuck behind Justin Cooper for a couple laps, he had to kind of charge, loses the front end here. But great day by Chase Sexton. I think that second moto was great, but better day by this number 18, coming from the back of the pack, the way to win this moto. 1-1 on America's Holiday, Jett Lawrence.
He was 18th after he fell on the first lap, and he still wins the moto and has still won every overall this year. Justin Cooper on the podium, but it is Jett and Hunter Lawrence 1-2 again, just like they were at Southwick, like they were at High Point. They are rolling right now. It took a couple weeks to get the bikes where they wanted them. Clearly that wasn't an excuse. That was a reason, because they're not touching the bikes now, and no one's touching them. Hampshire 3-6, he had a late crash in Moto 2, but he is knocking on the door of the overall podium now. If you look at the points, the big loser today, unfortunately, is Tomac. He was riding well, had the third. It appeared in the first moto to the bike let go, then bad gate pick, started 20 or so, comes back in the second moto for 7th, but now he's drifted to 4th in points. And then you combine all the points together from Supercross and Motocross, it is only a 14-point gap for Cooper Webb over Justin Cooper. That is a great story brewing if Justin Cooper could be the #1 seed going into the playoffs. Plessinger not able to race the second moto today. He was under the weather, so he took a big hit in those SMX standings. Sexton maintaining 4th with Malcolm Stewart and Jett Lawrence not too far back. Let's get more from RedBud. We'll send it down to Jason Thomas.
Thank you, Jason. Standing on the starting line, and you know, I feel like we talk about the starts a lot, but today I'm not going to talk about the rut condition or the gate choice of whatever your favorite rider may be, but I've been thinking about who can overcome a bad start, whether in the 250 class or the 450 class. And we've seen Hayden Deegan be able to do that last year. Not so much this year. His starts have been a little bit better, but it's really coming down to one guy. In 450 guys, you think about, can AP do it? No. Can Tomac do it? No, he's proven he can't. I don't know Chase Sexton yet. Like today was impressive, that second moto, but this is the first time we've really had to see Jett Lawrence push from the back. Not only did he not get a good start, then he crashed on the first lap, and he really had to show us what he has under the hood, when he's really pressed, when he really has to make up time and close guys down. And there's also a chance that he could make a critical mistake and freak out and make a bigger mistake. We've seen that where mistakes compound and you really do yourself a lot of harm. You could even point to Hayden Deegan having that type of day today. But to me, Jett Lawrence was so impressive, not just because he's so fast, not just because he won the race, but it was the poise that he showed at 21 years old with the points lead. Everybody knows he's the fastest guy, but this is the first time where he was really under duress, and we weren't sure what we were going to get from him. And just like I wanted to see, he was methodical. He chose good lines. He found places to pass. And before you knew it, he was on the rear tire of Justin Cooper and out front and off into the sunset. So I'm running out of superlatives to talk about with Jett Lawrence, and today was just another chapter. It was the, hey, if you get a bad start and you crash, can you still win? And the answer was a resounding yes, Weech.
It sure was. That's bad news for everyone else because his starts have been so amazing. It leads to some questions of what would happen if he didn't get one. Well, now we know he can still win. And since Honda swept the day, that's max points in the manufacturer's standings you're looking at now. And they picked up a ton on Yamaha. They've been really tussling for that #1 spot in the season-long standings for the Manufacturers Cup, which is the best finish in each of the 4 motos. So now Honda a 21-point gap over Yamaha. They were up by 1 when the day began. The next day that will begin here. Oh, hey, Beta, look at that. Beta's 9th. Beta, Ducati. We got 10 brands in there for the first time ever. Ducati is in the mix. Tony Crowley didn't finish second moto, but did finish the first. That's really cool to have 10 brands in the manufacturer's points. So the next gate drop for Pro Motocross is Spring Creek, beautiful track in Millville, Minnesota. Here's the Yamaha track map.
Yeah, another classic track, another router's favorite. You know, the sand rollers are always there. Not sure how they're going to be. They're going to be more skimmers, doubles, whatnots. Yeah, looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to watching it and being there, of course, but seeing how Chase Sexton, how he comes back that second moto, I think he walks out of here with maybe even more confidence than he did coming here, because he was able to do something that I don't think he's really been able to do. You know, yeah, he hasn't been able to beat Jett Lawrence, but the way he rode that second moto, got to say, if maybe he was out front, things might have been a little bit different. So, yeah, looking forward to Spring Creek. A lot of up and downhill. Mount Martin's huge, still climbing up that thing. Nonetheless, it's going to be a great day of racing, as it always is.
And a little bonus for the fans. Jeremy Martin will return on the Monster Yamaha Star Racing bike for his final pro race. I believe that's the plan as of now. Maybe he'll come back and race Millville next year, but he'll be back for the Spring Creek gate drop at what is literally his home track. His parents own it. Race Day Live starts it at 11 o'clock. That's qualifying coverage on Peacock Saturday morning, and then the gate will drop at 2 o'clock Eastern. Peacock with all the coverage. SMX Video Pass outside the United States. Thanks for watching. The SMX Insider post-race show was another epic RedBud. Honda ends up dominating, but there was so much drama throughout the day. Jett Lawrence had to put on the comeback. Chase Sexton looked quick. Joe Shimoda, Levi Kitchen were rolling. Emotional storybook podiums from Moseman and Swoll, but in the end, it's 1-1 for Shimoda, 1-1 for Jett Lawrence. That's the story from RedBud. See you next week from Spring Creek.